Hello, I'm Game Retainer, and in this video I'll be going over all there is to know about mining in 7 Days to Die. Let's jump straight in. There are two main ways of finding each of the ores. One is through an above ground node, and the second is to just dig down and look for gravel deposits. We'll start with the above ground nodes. This first one I'm showing here is iron, and it will appear on your map as a dark brown dot. This here is coal, and unsurprisingly coal will appear as a black dot on your map. If it's lead you're looking for, then this is what an above ground deposit looks like, and if you open up your map it will appear as a blue dot. This is what a nitrate node looks like from above ground, and if you want to find it on your map you can, just look for the white dots. This shiny node here, this is oil shale, and it can be a little tricky to see, but it will appear on your map as a little light brown dot, as you can see right there, and another one there. As for the more basic elements, you can get clay by digging up any sort of dirt patch, so anything that looks like dirt or grass will usually give you clay. If you dig down far enough, you will find plenty of stone, but there are also above ground stones that you can harvest. They also appear on your map. They will appear as small grey dots. If it's sand you're looking for, then unsurprisingly the desert is the best place to be, but I will go over all the biomes in a minute. You can also get sand from gravel, which I will touch upon later in the video, and you also get some sand when you're mining in the wasteland. Now that we've gone over the various resources, let's take a look at each biome. The pine forest is probably the easiest biome to mine in because the zombies tend to be easier to deal with. Here you'll find clay soil, stone, iron, nitrate, lead and coal, and you'll also find sand inside gravel deposits. The burnt forest does also have various ore nodes, but unfortunately they don't seem to be as abundant as they are in the pine forest. However, there is one advantage of mining in the burnt forest, and that is if you chop down a tree, you end up with some coal. And while it's technically not mining, I suppose, it is a bit of a 2-in-1. The snow biome can be relatively decent for mining. You will find quite a bit of coal up here, so that's quite nice. Sometimes the ore nodes are a bit difficult to spot, and with it being the snow biome, you will encounter some pretty tough enemies, so be careful. The wasteland is a strange one because you get iron in the form of these bars here, and they don't give you all that much, to be honest, so it's not really worthwhile. You can get plenty of stone and sand if you want to come here and grab that, but watch out because there are also mines spread about the place. I've left what is, in my opinion, the best biome till last, and that is the desert. There is one downside of digging in the desert: you're not going to find coal. However, you will find oil shale, and for the most part, the desert biome is the only one where you will find oil shale. I like the desert because there seems to be plenty of resources to pick up. It's very easy to spot them both on the map and out in the world itself, and it's kind of a mid-ground between the easiest biome and the most difficult one in terms of zombies you'll encounter. But now that we've gone over the biomes, let's take a look at mining gear and tools. There are 4 main tools for mining. You can also use things like the impact driver during the late stages of the game, but I feel it's best to stick with one of the late game tools. What I've done here is a little test where I've given a level 1 character with no skills, a level 6 axe of each type and an auger, and let him mine away for 60 seconds. Once his stamina's reached 0, I've let the stamina regen to full before starting again. Here's what I picked up. 233 stone with a tier 6 regular axe, 291 stone with an iron pick, 647 with a steel pick, and 1314 with an auger. While you will get more resources using an auger than with most of the other tools, it does require fuel to run, and you're not going to find this for the first couple of weeks of your playthrough. There is an armor set in the game that will help you with your mining, so let's go through each of the pieces. The boots increase your safe fall distance anywhere from 1 to 6, depending on the armor's tier. The gloves increase your ore block damage between 5% and 50%. The mining helmet increases your ore harvest bonus from between 5 and 30%. And the mining outfit reduces the stamina cost of using mining tools from between 5% and 30%. When you're wearing a full set of mining armor, you will get the full set bonus, and what that does is reduces the degradation of mining tools. With a full tier 6 set of armor, it will reduce the degradation of mining tools by 35%. However, the bonus you get is only as good as your weakest item, so if I put on the level 1 gloves and then go back to it, you'll see it goes down to 10%. So be sure to have all the pieces at the highest possible level to get the best possible bonus. When getting your mining set ready, there are a few mods that you're going to want to put on it. The first one being the helmet light mod, because if you're digging and you're in a dark cave, you're going to need a source of light. In my opinion, the second best piece is the treasure hunters mod. That's because of the nice XP gain boost that you get from it. The impact bracing mod does reduce your fall damage. Is it really that necessary? Not really, in my opinion, but it can be handy, I guess. The custom fittings mod just gives you that little bit extra stamina, which can be useful if you're swinging tools. And obviously armor pocket mods are important to help you maximize the amount of stuff you can hold without becoming encumbered. While I'm here, I'm going to mention treasure maps, because treasure maps are among the best ways to get some really good items for very little effort. Anytime you come across a treasure map, my recommendation, throw one of these on, head out and dig it up, because you're going to get some good stuff in it. Just be sure to bring some lockpicks with you unless you're comfortable smacking your way through the container. I'm just going to circle back to the tools while I talk about the mods. While I didn't use any mods while I was doing my testing, these are the mods that you're going to want. These two apply only to the auger, but they increase the tank size. This is okay, not the best in my opinion, but you can put it on if you want. This is the one that I usually go for because having tools break slower is fantastic, and each one of these does more damage against a specific resource, whether it be iron, stone, or dirt. These four here can go on any of these tools, and they just give you a nice little boost while mining. Next up we have consumables. There are a few that you want to keep an eye out for. First are any foods that give you a stamina bonus. This is mostly for when you're not using an auger. Swinging a pick can be quite costly on stamina, so every little bit of stamina helps. Coffee is also fantastic at helping increase the stamina regen speed. Blackstrap coffee does the same, and I'll go over a book set connected to mining in a minute that can help boost this further. Then we've got Rockbusters. This can be purchased from pretty much every working food vending machine in the game, and it increases your mining harvest by 20% for 6 minutes. If possible, try and get a healthy selection of all of these things to give yourself that nice boost while mining. Now let's take a look at the book set. I'll only go over these really quickly because you can read them for yourself. The first one gives you a chance of getting gems. The second one allows you to make the diamond tipped blade mod, which is pretty good in my opinion. This third one is fantastic and worth keeping an eye out for. Once you've learnt it, you'll harvest 10% more ore while on coffee. This works for both blackstrap coffee and standard coffee. The fourth one allows you to make blackstrap coffee, which, as I mentioned with the Art of Mining Volume 3, increases your yield, so these two together work quite nicely. This one isn't one that I rely on all that much, but if you're planning to spend a very, very long time mining, then it might be worth having because it allows you to make stacks of various resources, which can be quite handy for saving space. Art of Mining Volume 6 means you take 50% less damage from collapsing mines, but as long as you're mining correctly, you shouldn't have to worry about that. The last book in the set increases block damage by 10%. That's quite a nice one. Once you've read every single book, you will get a 20% boost to the ore that you get when mining, which is very nice. So try and complete this set as soon as possible. To boost your chances of finding the Art of Mining books, you can invest in either Miner 69er or Motherlode. You should also invest in these anyway because they're very good for gaining extra materials. Miner 69er increases block damage and reduces stamina usage, meaning that you can mine for longer, which is quite nice and quite powerful. Motherlode increases your harvest by 20% at each rank when mining. Both of these work really well together, but for those who want to nerd out a little bit, I have done some testing to find out which one is superior. Similar to what I did with the tools, I mined for 60 seconds using a steel pick at each of the individual skills for both of these. It's worth noting that I haven't mixed it up and done 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, otherwise I'll be here for months, I don't have the time. But I've done it level 1 through 5 for minus 69er, level 1 through 5 for Motherload, and that is both of those individually, not together, and then both of them maxed out. The results for level 1 Motherload, I got 799 stone, and for minus 69 I got 949. Motherload rank 2 got me 939 stone, and minus 69er got me 975. So as you can see early on, minus 69er seems to beat out Motherload. 3 points in Motherload gave me 1144 stone, whereas with minus 69er it gave me 1020, so there is a swap as you get to the 3rd rank. 4 points in Motherload gave me 1211 stone, and 4 points in minus 69 gave me 1403. The reason for this dramatic increase is because my stamina didn't actually go down enough to deplete, it kind of stayed around the same point, meaning that I didn't have to take a break to regen my stamina like I did with Motherload. Motherload rank 5 gave me 1430, and minus 69 of 5 gave me 1450, so not that much difference between those two. But when they're both maxed out, as you can see, 2712, so quite a lot there. It's definitely worth investing. In my opinion, I would start with the first points in minus 69er. Once I've got to 2 points there, I would then get to say 2 in Motherload and then do 1, 1, 1, 1. But that's just my preference. You might think differently. Now we get stuck into the mining itself. If you've decided to make your way underground and kind of dig randomly, that's fine. You will eventually come across gravel. And for the most part, behind gravel, you will find a lot of ore. So as soon as you see gravel, be sure to dig it out. You will get some sand and stone, which is nice, but as you can see here, I found a lot of iron. And for the most part, this will stretch for quite some distance, so be sure to dig around, and there's a good chance behind it that you'll find even more gravel that will lead to even more resources. So just keep going and dig it all out, and you'll walk away with a hefty haul. When you are mining, you will want to make sure that you have a way out that doesn't involve jumping, because if zombies come down to you and try attacking you, you can't jump and place a block if there is a zombie beneath you. So be careful with that and make sure you have a nice way out. Also, if possible, try and fortify your mine. While you don't need to build anything quite like this, throwing a few spikes down and building a little base 2 or 3 blocks high can be enough to help, at the very least, slow down zombies. Also, when you are mining, you'll want to watch for cave-ins. The best way to avoid that is to make sure that the interior of your cave has plenty of support. To do this, place down some building blocks and make sure that they go to the very top of your mine here, just to give you a little bit of extra stability. It's also worth upgrading them a little bit to help with that support and also to prevent accidentally picking them up as you're running through your mine. I'm going to finish off this video by going over a handful of tips for mining. The first one is more of a late game tip, but get yourself a drone. Not only is a drone good for holding a bunch of your mining tools and resources and whatever else you want, but they also do something else. Whilst you're busy mining, it's very easy for zombies to sneak up on you and you not hear them. Thankfully, drones will alert you when there are nearby zombies. So keep one of these with you, even if you have it staying still at the bottom of your mine. You've got somewhere to drop off your crap, and it will shout out to you if there are any zombies nearby. Unlike older versions of the game, zombies like to dig now. So my advice is to build your mine away from your main base. I like to use Mima residence here, so that's where I'm held up, but I mine over here, which is well away, so no zombies are going to dig underneath and destroy my lovely house. When you're mining, it doesn't matter what tool you're using, you will generate heat, and eventually that heat will attract a screamer or two. There are a couple of things you can do to help reduce your heat output. Firstly, if you're using an auger, you generate the most amount of heat when you press the button to use it. So starting and stopping the auger regularly is going to generate quite a lot of heat. Instead, just keep it running. Even if that means you have to waste a bit of gas making your way from one side of your mine to the other, it's best to do this as there's less likelihood of a screamer spawning in. The second thing you can do, which reduces your heat output by, I think, 50%, that is crouch. You can hear the difference in sound. If I'm mining normally, it's quite noisy. If I'm mining crouched, it's considerably quieter. That is the same for every tool. When I'm crouched, it's quieter. When I'm standing, it's louder. So whenever you're mining, doesn't matter what you're doing, be sure to crouch. If you're not really that interested in building a mine of your own, you can use an existing mine. In my opinion, the best one to come to, and I apologise if I butcher the pronunciation, is the Aranya Cave. You'll find a little bit of everything in this mine. Unfortunately, you will also find quite a few zombies, so be mindful, and you will find some nice loot. There isn't an awful lot of resources to be had, but there is enough to keep you going, and should be enough to help you complete those challenges, which is quite nice. One other notable place to visit for mining is this building here. I will show you on the Navezgane map. There's its coordinates, and it is right next to Trader Bob. This place has a very large mining complex underneath, which is pretty good for gaining resources. Just like the previous place I mentioned, you will also find lots of enemies, so proceed with caution, but it can be nice for stocking up. They're not the only mines you can visit. There are a few dotted around various maps, so be sure to explore and do what suits you best. So I hope you found this video interesting. I do apologise if you found the testing a little bit boring. I quite enjoy it, and it's my video, so I put it in, but apologies for that. There are timestamps below, so you can skip back and forth as you please. If there are any other things that any veteran players think I might have missed, then feel free to drop them in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.